to a new episode of the MIGO Experiment. We're over here. My name is Henry Flo.
Yo soy LaBori.
And today, our special feature interviewer.
What up, guys? It's DJ Skeem.
All right. And today, y'all, we have a treat for you because we have not only is he from the local area, he's from DC, but my man is worldwide known. He's the Moombathon godfather here with us, man, on the MIGO Experiment right now. We have...
Dave Nada!
Yeah! We got Dave Nada in the building, man. Welcome. ¿Cómo está? Bienvenido.
Oh, man, I'm hanging in there. How y'all doing?
Man, we hanging. You know, sometimes we just doing other things to entertain ourselves.
Likewise. Every day, all day.
Hey, man, so you being who you are, man, the godfather, you're labeled the godfather of Moombathon. So what made you want to pop off that idea, Dave?
Oh, man. If I really want to just kind of bring it down to one exact thing, was I just thought at the time Dutch House, which was like the big sound in like electronic music at the time, was 2009. And, you know, you had like DJ Chucky. Afrojack was basically dominating like the whole club scene and everything, at least in electronic music at the time, that stuff that I was doing. And all that stuff sounded like really fast, like reggaeton to me. Like, you know, just upbeat dembow. And I'm just like, damn, this kind of sounds like dembow. So when I slowed it down, I mean, I wasn't completely wrong. And so with like the original edits that I slowed down, you know, that like the, you know, house music is usually the BPM tempo is like 128, 126 BPMs. Reggaeton is like what, like from 88 to like 95 to 100 usually. So in my mind, I was like, well, let me slow this down to make it sound like this weird reggaeton stuff. So let me add some signature reggaeton sounds, some ad-libs. Let me throw in some DJ blasts, like sample kits, like some percussions, and just try to hood it out a little bit more. And that's how Moombathon came about. The first track was Moomba. I thought Moomba is a fun word. Moombathon, reggaeton. I know it sounds silly, but we'll see.
Cool, man. That's cool, man. So what's the most memorable moment in your career?
Oh, God. Well, there's a lot, but it's also, you know, it's like 10 years of partying, man. It's like my last two brain cells fighting each other, trying to figure out like what that moment was. I mean, I would say like still to this day, my favorite memories usually come from the Washington, D.C. Moombathon Massives. And we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary this year, which we were going to do a show in D.C. at U-Haul with our friends Good Times Ahead from Miami. And then COVID happened. And then that was like the same week too. We were like crossing our fingers like, okay, this got locked down. We're still a week away. Boom. Shut down, man. So, but we made up for it, I think. I mean, we tried our best, and we did like we hosted a live stream in July with like a bunch of heads. And I don't know if you guys were able to catch that, but that was our way of trying to like, you know, commemorate the 10-year anniversary of Moombathon Massive. But that's been like, for Moombathon at least, man, like, I mean, I have a bunch of career highlights, but that party, and I think in that setting too, is like, I'll never forget.
Wasn't that Insomniac, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the label I just started called Hermanito with my boy Titsworth, who shout out Titsworth. He's old DC head as well. So we started a label called Hermanito, and that was our collaboration with Insomniac, who obviously, of course, they do all the EDCs. You know, they're a huge rave, you know, events company out here in LA. And we collaborated with them, and you know, they were super hyped on doing the idea and celebrating. And we were like, yo, let's get all the heads, let's get the fam involved, like, you know, and like let's make it like a global thing, because Moombathon has always been like a worldwide thing. And we tried to go all out. I was like, yo, let's get DJ Chucky. He's like in Amsterdam. Let's get Trop Killers in Brazil. You know, let's get Trop Called Red out in Canada. You know what I mean? Like, and it was a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie, that shit was a lot of work. But it came out great, and we were super happy the way it came out. So that's 2020 highlight for sure. at least. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, that's dope. So, okay. Well, you know what? First of all, I mean, we already established the fact that you are a DC native. Okay, but are you actually from DC, or are you like some of these people in the DMV that say, I'm from DC, but they're really from like Alexandria or Arlington?
All right,
Montgomery
so I mean,
County.
if we want to be real about it, I'm PG County. Like,
PG County,
But what
yay!
part? But what part?
Hold on.
Okay,
It's
here we
in
go.
College Park, but so are you from College Park or
Yeah,
Hydesville,
I
bro?
grew up
Or
in College
Lewiston?
Park, but I grew up in Willowbrook, Langley Park, and then College Park for the majority of my life.
Willowbrook, hey yo, he said like, hey, like Willowbrook,
Willowbrook.
like Willowbrook, yo.
TikTok liquors for life.
Hey, yo, TikTok liquor. Hey, yo. Hey, yeah. Pound to you, my man. I grew up the street from that joint.
No, I mean, I like all day. I always rep PG County, man. I mean, but yeah, I mean, if you want to go back, like my dad, like he came. You know, both of my parents are from Ecuador, and my dad came in the '60s. You know, he lived in DC. My grandfather at the time he was actually a cook at the White House, and that's when my dad came to help him out. And then my dad just broke off when he was 16. He like finished school, went to live with his friends, and that's how he met my mom. And she came from Ecuador as well to be with her sister. And they lived in DC and Mount Pleasant up until they started having kids. And like I got like 5 brothers. So once they started popping them out, they were just like, all right, let's go to the burbs.
Jeez, man, you and I have something in common. We both got popped in DC. Yeah.
So I mean,
Mount Pleasant over there, 12 for them over here.
So yeah, I mean, I'm technically not from DC. I mean, I'm PG County, but you know,
it's okay. It's okay. You know,
I feel like I get a pass, like a little pass.
You do. You
man,
do.
You from Langley Park? Yes, sir. You get a pass, dog. Yo, if y'all don't know where this guy used to live, Willowbrook is like right around the area across from Bonero, that whole neighborhood over there. So it's right there, right? Straight to the back. Literally.
I remember going. Oh man, like I think the Fuss 75 is still there too. Hub Furniture, that whole shopping center. Shout out Hub Furniture. Like this is like some old ass shit. But yeah, man, that was the hood growing up. And then College Park, like I went to University of Maryland. I mean, I lived right across the street, and then like I used to listen to the college radio station. And I used to pick it up in my house, and that's how I got super into DJing and being in bands and shit like that. I was like so fortunate to live and like get exposed to like college radio. That shit put me on big time.
Yeah. So, okay. So you mentioned that you used to go to University of Maryland. What were you studying?
So at first I was like a bio major, but for some reason I could not understand chemistry. So I changed my majors a couple times, and I ended up going to like psychology and then sociology. And then so those are like the classes and like the area that like really stuck with me. I got like a social psych degree. But like I haven't applied it, but I did get a degree in it. But like I said before, like I immediately, once I got into Maryland, I volunteered at the radio station, and that was just like the Pandora's box or whatever you want to call it for me, like getting into music, because I was playing in bands. I used to play in hardcore punk bands, so I was like really big in the DC hardcore punk scene.
Okay.
And then like the people that I met at the radio station around the same time, some of my peers that got me into DJing that I was like hanging out with or just watching their shows was like Pete Rosenberg was doing his Dust Till Dawn show, who of course now is Pete Rosenberg, and you know, Aaron McGruger from the Boondocks, you know, like older DC hip hop heads like Kev Brown and like the whole like low budget crew. It's just like that was the era that I grew up in. So like that, I mean, at least the era that like I was getting put on into like DJ culture and hip hop and DC at the time. And I was going to raves too. It was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, that's dope. So for some people who don't know, I'm going to be so honest with you. I just found out about Moombathon like
that's cool.
A few weeks
Never too late.
A few weeks ago, you know, like Heavy D was actually the one who introduced me to it. So I was just like, oh shit, okay, you know, like he actually messaged me, and shout out to Heavy D. He actually messaged me, and he was like, hey, can you send me some voice notes over to me, because I'm trying to like put together this track. And I was like, fuck it, okay. Like, you know, normally I already talk like stupid shit to myself. So I was like,
Wait,
fuck.
is that your voice in Baile?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
The one with the message with the hold on, she's calling. Yeah, that's me.
Oh my God.
So I talk stupid shit all the time. So, you know, I was just like, you know what, I'll record it and I'll just send it to him.
Sick.
And I recorded it in my bathroom actually, and I just sent it to him.
Damn, I'm gonna have to hit you up for some voice notes.
Yeah, most definitely. But so you know,
royalties. It's like, nah. He's like, oh.
No, but when he, you know, when he introduced me to it and showed me that, I was like, oh, okay, this is dope. But you know, I see where you got the thong from, you know, reggaeton, obviously. But what the hell is Moomba?
So like I was saying earlier, so Moomba is the name of the song, of the track that DJ Chucky, like the first track that I did the edit, the first track that I ever slowed down was called Moomba. And I remember at the time when that track came out, it was huge. It was like the biggest electronic club record at the time. And the Afrojack remix was just blew it out the water. So Moomba, I remember in interviews, Chucky was saying how that was named, and he named that song after this bar in Aruba. So he was just like, yeah, it's just like this dope bar that I used to go out and DJ on the beach. And, you know, he just called it a track. So, and it sounds ridiculous, but like, I'm surprisingly, it stuck. I was like, Moombathon. Okay.
No, because if anything, I thought for some reason it was a code word for electronic music. I was like, oh, I never knew that people call electronic music Moomba.
Yeah, people butcher the shit out of it too. They'll be like Moombathon, Moombathon.
Yeah, you know.
Moombathon, Roombathon.
At first, I didn't even say Moombathon. I think I said
Moombathon.
I said Moonitone. I said Moonitone.
It's a dumb word. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but
hey, but you know what? That dumb word, like, you know, it's you've got millions saying it or millions listening to it.
10 years later, it's a movement.
It's
been like this whole. I mean, I'm pretty blown about how far it's come. So yeah, you never know.
Speaking about though how far we've come with it, we like I said, you know, we have here, you know, special feature interviewer, DJ Skeem. Skeem. Now we're about to go with like this, Dave. Skeem, take it away, man. You got the quick one words, right?
Quick
we're gonna call this a one-worder.
I'm gonna come up with some. Let's see. And you just got to come up with whatever comes to your mind, Dave, because you know what I'm saying? I mean, so
wait. So let me get this right. You're gonna give me a word, and then I gotta counteract with another word, or
no? I'm gonna ask you a question, and you just have to answer.
Oh, one word.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, don't be like, oh well.
In one word and quickly.
Yeah, you got 10 seconds, buddy, to answer this. I
have a terrible mind, so
hopefully I don't put you on the spot with this, but
hopefully he doesn't lose one of those brain cells that he said that we're still fighting with each other.
It's very possible.
Yeah, all these years, right?
All right, and some of these are just gonna be generic, so you know it's like, all right,
I mean,
favorite track off the Moombathon Massive 10-year anniversary.
The Mula Somos Quienes.
Damn, dude, I get that shit right.
You got it right? Is that what you guessed? Oh,
yeah, you got it. Producing or DJing?
DJing.
Tacos or empanadas?
Empanadas all fucking day, man. No
modelo negra, modelo especial, modelo light?
Especial.
Invisibility or super strength?
Did you say invincibility or super strength? Super
invisibility.
Strength. Oh, invisibility. Oh, super strength.
Favorite color?
Green.
Favorite food?
Chicken.
Favorite food?
I just said
empanada.
I know, right? All right, lightning round. Here we go.
All right. No. I mean, I'm running out of questions, man. I got more ask questions like.
As a whole.
Well, there you go. There goes the one-worder.
What's that?
The one-worder here on MIGO Experiment. So, you got questions for him, though. Go ahead, man.
All right. So, favorite festival you've performed at so far in your career?
Yeah, I would instantly. I said EDC Mexico because I was like, I mean, not just the last one I did, but yeah, I tagged with DJ Blast, Reggaeton Pioneer. Shout out Blast, and a good homie of mine, Jester. in front of like a sea of people. It was insane.
I mean, yeah, man. I mean, I've noticed since like the underground. Well, I wouldn't say the underground. I mean, U Street kind of like the kind of like, not saying beginning for you, but like kind of like where you kind of like establish roots of like getting like real like part underground. I feel like that was like underground party for me. That was like the first underground thing I went to.
I would say like that was the first. I mean, to be official. I mean, because I was doing a bunch of underground parties before that. I never really threw one myself. Like I used to have residencies. I used to be a residency at this party called Taxel in Baltimore. And at the time I was making Baltimore club records. I was just starting to learn how to produce and shit like that. And, but when Moombathon happened and then I did the Moombathon Massive, the party before that was Moombathon Mondays at Velvet Lounge, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with on U Street. Holds like what, like 30 people at a time. And it's just like a dive punk bar. And and that party over the summer, it was like a Monday night, and it was insane. Every week it got crazier and crazier. And then right before I flew out when I was moving out to LA, Tisworth had opened U-Haul, and he was just like, yo, you should throw one more Moombathon party before you leave for Halloween and do it at U-Haul. I'm like, U-Haul is way too big and way too intimidating to throw a Moombathon party. And then, but then he convinced me, and then I ended up doing it. And that was like Munchie's first time playing in the U.S.
Yeah.
Munchie and DJ Sabo, and that shit popped off. And it was enough for us to do it for 4 years, every month after that. So that was like, I would say like, you know, even though I've been doing stuff for years prior, that was like the first time, like, here's a new sound and let's nurture this, and DC's embracing it. And I remember coming back like at its peak too, man, like hearing that shit in people's cars. They were playing it on like PGC. They were playing it on the radio station. I mean, it was like everywhere. And I was like, this is insane. So, I mean, I was happy that it was embraced as like this DC sound, and like there was like a home for it, and people were playing it. DJs were playing it. I remember in the beginning when I made those edits, like I had like Latin DJs in mind. So I was like trying to send it to like Latin DJs that I knew in DC. But at the time, it was like either it was like you were playing like the really kind of like bottle service type clubs. So I was like, this sounds kind of weird. I don't know if they're gonna go for it. And I would like disclaim that in my messages, like, yo, this shit's kind of weird. I don't know, but like I think it's good. I think you might dig it. You should try to play it in your crowds and see what happens. And
because like when I would go, I mean, I remember the first time I went to, like, I heard what Moombathon was. I was just getting into like I mean, I was like deep into like EDM. You know, there was like that phase of like party rock and all those, you know, like weird phase where everybody thought they knew about EDM. And then I went in, it's like underground. It's just like red lights, and all I hear is just like a reggaeton type like something you just like bump to, right? And I was just like, what is this? And then my boy's like, dog, party's like popping, man. It's like Wednesdays, you know, Moombathon Massive. You going to the Massive? You going to Massive? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I just started hitting him that summer, and I was just like, bro, like girls are like doing upside down twerking on the walls in the backstage, you know? And I'm just like, bro, what? And just like, it would just start getting crazy. And that's when like people would drop like Sandungueo and like, you know, like Pendejas was coming out, like, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff. And I was just like, just getting hip. And then, you know,
there was no like photo policy at U-Haul at the time.
Yeah, you couldn't do anything. Yeah, it was like dark and stuff. And I was just like, just getting drunk. I didn't even know what was going on. And then at the end, I would eat Mama Nada's empanadas at the entrance.
Yeah, like we had, like my mom became part of the party, you know, like when Munchie had his, like when he like had his accident and we were trying to raise money, fundraising, it was her idea to like, yo, let me sell some empanadas and like raise more money. And we were like, yeah, cool. Cause they had a kitchen at the time and they used to sell food at U-Haul. And then when we did it, everyone was just like, yo, your mom's empanadas are crazy. And they're like, you know, where is she next time? Like next time, bring her back. So we brought her back. Like,
I mean, that was like part of it. Like they would,
it was
out of the flyer. It'd be like Mama Nada's empanadas.
So and she would make like the comfort food kind with like mac and cheese, and then like for the vegan ones, she would do like spinach and pine nut. Like, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, how was I?
I know, yo, it's. I mean, it's still going on, but like once we do it annually. But yeah, you missed out. Like,
oh yeah, you missed out.
All I heard was mac and cheese empanadas, and I'm like, where the hell was I?
Yeah, I mean, U-Haul was like the perfect spot for that because, you know, at the time too, like I said, like as a DJ, like you were either playing like in a punk or rock dive bar that didn't really understand DJ culture, so the sound system wasn't that good. And then like a lot of times they didn't treat you
Especially
well.
around there, man.
Oh yeah, or you were like in a bottle service club where it sounds amazing, but like then you're paying like $20 for a drink, and then like everyone's very stiffy. You know, it's just stuffy. You know what I mean? Like it's not the vibe. And where U-Haul was just like, yo, here's a room, it's barely lit, it's like the best sound system in the city, like voted multiple times a year, and or multiple years, and that's all you needed, and the music, and then like, and then the music spoke for itself, and then like yeah, you've been to the masses, man, like you're, you know, month after month on a Wednesday night too, just sold out.
Dude, just like lines, like
yeah.
I'd be walking there
like,
getting all lit. By the time I get to the line, I'm like freaking out. I smoked a little bit too much or whatever the case may be, and I'm just like, dude, what's going on? Are we getting in? And they're like, yeah, come on. Do I have a ticket? Oh, I don't have a ticket. They're like, all right, well, just here, pay like $20. I'm like, let's go.
And it added the mystique to it that you couldn't take photos. And I know that we live in the times where everything is like, you know, documented, filmed, or whatever. So but at the time, you know, like you had that mystique. It's like you had to be there, you know.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Like,
there's no like,
you know,
like live streaming. I mean, maybe I don't even know if live streaming was a thing back then. But you know,
no, with like Ustream Music Hall, it's just like the photo cameras. I mean, they used to see the big old bright light just hold the fucking light, you know, when it snaps and stuff. Like, they take your
phone. They were aggressive, man.
No, like they'll kick you out, like straight up. You can't do that. They want to keep everything like very, like that's how it was. And Moombathon, like I started knowing about it because I was DJing a Christmas party, and for a particular restaurant that I was at, you know, that hired me. And it's like Moombathon parties get held here. I'm like, Moombathon parties? I'm like, what? I'm like, oh. And then it's just like once a month. And I happen to pop by one, and I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, oh, man. And what he said, like, right behind you, man, it's a vibe. Like, Moombathon, the vibe that you captured by slowing down, you know, Moomba to do what it do is just like, when you think about it, that whole chemical, you know, degree and all that psychology stuff that you got, you figured it out. It just happened to be with music. You know what I mean?
Secret.
Talk, he created the formula just in music for a whole entire like genre.
Yeah,
you know,
take that, Biochem. Take that.
Instead of him creating the Powerpuff Girls, this nigga created Moombathon. Like,
right? Like, what the fuck, yo? And being that what it is, and how everything is evolutionizing, you know, to different things like Moomba Core, Moomba Soul, and how it's going. How do you feel about your genre creating what it's becoming now, you know, from the underground days?
I mean, I obviously I'm super hyped and excited to see how long it's come and how much it's evolved, and I think, you know, it's only right, like 10 years later. I really want to try to shed the light on a lot of the pioneers that, like, you know, started like these, like the roots of Moombathon needs to be a little bit more like needs more shine, so to speak. You know, because like, you know, your David Heartbreaks, who like started like Moomba Soul, and like, you know, some of the you know, underrated cats that just, you know, don't get as much credit as they should for, you know, pioneering this stuff. Like, yeah, I created it, but like there's like, you know, it wasn't just me at the time, you know, like, you know, you had your Munchies, your David Heartbreaks, your Pixters and Mellows, DJ Sabo, like, I mean, the list goes on, and like, and because of that, like, as the genre kept developing, like it was just kind of branching out into different parts of like of the music ecosystem. I mean, you obviously hear it in pop music and like reggaeton now, and like in Afro. Like, I mean, you can name a song, a hit, and you know, you like One Dance by Drake. Even that's a slowed down like house song with a dembo over it. You know, like, you know, I mean, obviously Major Lazer popularized it, Daddy Yankee, like you know, it's part of the furniture now. You know, so like. Seeing how it's evolved and throughout these paths. One thing I always wanted to see, because in the beginning, like the Latin crowd didn't really fuck with Moombathon initially. But my vision was like, yo, I want to see like the Latin crowd fuck with this, and I want to see like the Dutch crowd, like the Dutch people in Holland fuck with this too, because those were like the two sides that I pulled from as far as, you know, to make Moombathon. And then and now 10 years later, that's where it's strongest. So to see that kind of come full circle, because it's huge in Mexico, it's huge in Latin America, and like and it's big in the Netherlands, and it's like now like being like mixed with Afro and like where music is now, like it's crazy. So like the evolution, like just to see how it's gone around, just to see how it's traveled through different styles of music, whether it's electronic, pop, or mainstream, what have you. Yeah, it's pretty, it's just crazy. But it's cool to see it come being embraced in the places that I was hoping it would get to. It just took a little while.
Nothing's overnight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
But so I mean, I don't know if you guys are gonna continue, Henry, but so I know you just put out, well, you didn't just put it out, but I know you have a sample pack that I actually have. It's on
Yes.
Splice. This is your first pack, right?
This is my very first sample pack.
First pack. Are you having more coming out, hopefully, or?
Yeah, I mean that's the plan, man. That's why it's volume 1. It's because that was super exciting to do, because again, we got to like work with a bunch of producers that Hermanito label, like we're huge fans of. You know, it's got like Ratero on it, OG Moombathon producer John Quest, you know, and then like upcoming cats like Trevioso and like Grandizzle. Like it's just and that's kind of like in the same spirit of Moombathon, and it being like this kind of like, it's a crew, it's a fam thing, it's like a globalized thing. Like let's just try to get everyone involved, you know.
Yeah, like
and
hermanito.
Yeah.
It's like we're hermanos, you know, like we're all like, you know, fam.
Panas.
Yeah, so if you could share, I know like a lot of producers don't like giving out their secrets, because that's what pretty much makes you what you know what I'm saying, like what you know, that's your special thing, you know. But if you could kind of maybe share something with up and coming producers, what would that be?
Oh man,
if you can give out a secret.
Like, I mean, you just mean like production tips?
I mean, maybe something, maybe it's an upcoming producer like, oh my God, what does Dave Nada do where his snares or his drums or his bass lines are like, well,
I got the sample pack.
Yo, there we go.
No, I was gonna say
small fee subscription to Splice.
It's like Splice.
Yeah. I'm like a professor who just like wrote a book, and he's like trying to pitch it to his students. Like,
yeah,
oh, you can read my book. You know, that's.
Download this, and you'll have every secret.
Nah, I mean, Splice. Shout out to Splice, man. Like they're definitely like ahead of the curve and kind of championing the whole like production game. And their platform is crazy. Like you can, you know, like just you can collaborate. It's so user friendly, and like just endless kinds of sample packs that are super like detailed. And you know, we were super happy that they were down to do like a Moombathon one, and that was to commemorate the 10-year anniversary of the genre last year. So I mean, between Splice and I'm an Ableton Live cat. Like I used to do a bunch of older stuff like back in the day, like Acid Pro.
Yeah, I started
what was the one that used to kick my ass? Oh God, I don't even remember.
Use Reason, but I can't get
Reason. Yeah.
I can't get Reason. It's literally like you have to know. You press the tab bar and it flips around, like you have all the cables and connections. I was like, bruh.
Yeah, I like
rewire. If you ain't have rewire, you're fucked.
Yeah. It's like literally, yeah, you're literally like plugging and chugging.
Yeah, literally.
Like,
rewire.
I used to dig that a lot, but it just never stuck. And then I try to mess with Logic, because Matt from Nodastrom, who I still work with, he was a big Logic wizard, and he's got a degree in engineering. So like I was trying to follow in his footsteps and learn it. But like once Ableton came out, it was a wrap. It's so user friendly. Yeah, I was able to manipulate samples, and I mean I did all the early edits on Ableton, and it sounded cool. And you can make it sound weird. You can pitch it down. You can pitch things around and stretch samples and audio to a way that you can manipulate it in so many different ways. I mean, now it's just out of control. Like there's so many plugins and things you can make, like I could tap this glass and then turn it into like a wild snare for like a huge, banger. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
but
exactly.
All the processing is all there. So I don't have any like crazy secrets. I mean, some of my favorite plugins that I like to use is like this company called Soundtoys. Soundtoys is my go-to, because like they have a couple of plugins there that I use to like just mangle sounds just to make it sound completely foreign and strange. Like there's like the crystallizer, the decapitator. There's like they have like a really dope like it's called a Little Ultra Boy, and I use that to like do a lot of like pitching of vocals and just make shit sound demonic, do layers, make pitch up or whatever. You can automate it and then like make like rising synth sounds with it. Okay. I don't know. Like it's a lot of fun.
It's a synthesizer?
No. I'm just saying you can manipulate things to make it sound. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. So I mean, you were talking about Nada Strom and all that.
Yes.
Where did you come up with Dave Nada? Where did Nada?
Dave Nada. Oh, so Dave Nada came. That was my nickname for a long time. So I mean, I was telling you, I used to play in hardcore punk bands for a long time. So I want to say like 96 to 2007. I was playing. I was deep in bands. I played guitar. I sang, and one of the first bands that really did a lot of damage was this band called De Nada. And so that's where my nickname came. It was like, oh, that's Dave. That's Dave from De Nada, like Dave Nada. So it just never left. And then once I started DJing and I started playing out, it was just, that's what everybody knew me as. Cause I like the first circuit in DC that I used to like DJ at was in Adams Morgan. And at the time it was like all these like little bars. It was like the Reef, Asylum, and then like Club Felix.
Madam's Oregon.
Chief, yeah, Madam's Oregon. I've never DJed there, but like Chief Ike's, like all this old shit that doesn't really exist anymore. But those were my stomping grounds, and I used to go there to play shows. So I knew a lot of the bartenders and like service industry cats, and that's where everyone used to hang out. So if I wasn't playing shows, I was DJing and I was hanging out, and like everybody just knew me as Dave Nada. So I was like, all right, I'll just use that as my DJ. The first time I ever DJ was at Mark's Cafe in Mount Pleasant. But apparently they suck because I think the owners are racist. But at the time, this was like, I don't know, 2003 or some shit, or 2002. I went on a Tuesday night. It was like raining. They had a like open turntable night. And I was like kind of shy. I didn't want people to know that I was like into DJing because all my friends were like in punk bands and shit. I didn't want them to think that was like soft. But I was like, I was deep into like neo soul and like Erykah Badu, Raphael Sadiq, like all the smooth like R&B shit. And so I went to Mark's Cafe on a Tuesday night, and because I knew, and it was raining, and I was like bringing like a crate of records, and I was like, no one's gonna be there, and it was like maybe 3 people there, and I was like, perfect. And I'll never forget, that was like the first time I ever played outside of my bedroom, purposely to nobody, so that way I could ease into it.
It'd be good.
But yeah, shout out Mount Pleasant.
That's what's up, man.
Yo, so go ahead and plug yourself in, man. How can we go ahead and follow you, man? Listen to your music, and for all those who are just being put onto Moombathon right now, man, what can they go ahead and look forward to looking you up and listen to?
Well, you came at a good time, everybody. My label, Hermanito label, just released a compilation celebrating the 10-year anniversary of Moombathon Massive. And if you want more, last summer we put out a compilation celebrating the 10-year anniversary of Moombathon. So since then, we have put out a gang of music. And a lot of it is like, if you fuck with Moombathon, you fuck with global bass, you like baile funk, you like trap, you like, we got you. Like it's a range. So Hermanito is like, it's a lot of Moombathon, but it's an umbrella for like a bunch of like the rest of the diaspora that we fuck with, you know. You can find us at hermanitolabel.com or just hermanito.com, I'm sorry. But our real home base is our Instagram. So go to Hermanito, our IG is at Hermanito Label. And we're constantly posting up stuff there. We have our link in bios to like, for our catalog. If you want to check out, all of our music is on all the platforms, like your Spotify's, your Apple Music, iTunes. We even have it on SoundCloud. We have a Bandcamp. If you go to our Bandcamp, Hermanito Label, it has our entire catalog. And I want to say now, most recently, we've been doing collaborations with other brands and imprints. Like most recently, with this band imprint called Baby Thug Music. And I don't know if you all are familiar with the legendary Nafi crew from Mexico City. They're celebrating their 10-year anniversary too, and they're like pioneers and like pushing club underground, like club music, like embracing the queer, non-binary, like alternative underground shit in Mexico City, and or just Mexico and also worldwide. Like they've expanded. So their collective is badass. So now they have a new imprint called Baby Thug Music, and that focuses more like on rap and Latin trap stuff. So and we were homies, and we were just like, yo, let's work on this track. Let's put this track out. Then we collabed on this track called Chula, where we did like a big Moombathon remix of it, and it features this group called 45 from Mexico City and Royal Highness, which has one of the members is Principe Q, which is as we we're all fans of Selena, right? That's his nephew. She's he's Selena's nephew. And so he comes from Cumbia royalty. He's a dope producer. So Royal Highness did that track that we just put out with Baby Thug, and yeah, I mean, all this stuff is you can find on our IG and our Bandcamp, and find us on Spotify. Give us some clicks.
And what about for all those producers out there? Is there a demo submission email that you have?
Yes, hermanitolabel@gmail.com. Send us some tunes.
Bet.
All right, so y'all check it out, man. Thank you, Dave Young, for making time for us, man, here on the MIGO Experiment.
Buddy, thank you. Skeem, was a pleasure, homie.
Anyways,
go ahead and comment below, subscribe, man. Follow me as well at Henry Flow, FLO_DCF.
You can follow me on Instagram at LaBori DMV, LABORIII
you can check me out at DJ SKEEM. Pretty much Google me. I mean, and DJSkeem.com. It's just DJ Skeem together. All right, appreciate it.
Yo, thank you as well, DJ Skeem, man. Nada as well.
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you, Godfather, to Moombathon. Thank you.
I appreciate y'all having me. Anytime, man.